in the cemetery. After a decade of going there in 2010, I had the idea that maybe I could put together a book of photographs of the wildlife of the cemetery. Being in the book business, it's natural to think that maybe there's a book in you. It goes with the territory, so to speak. I asked a friend in New York who was a nonfiction literary agent about doing a book of photographs of the cemetery, and she said that books of photographs are hard to sell to a publisher and that I should try to come up with something else to go along with that. A short time later, I was driving by Bigelow Chapel at the cemetery, and I actually slapped myself on the head. I'm a book distributor, I thought. I know all of these authors, and they know the cemetery, and they love it as I do. Why not combine that interest and have essays by these authors and photographs from all the photographers that regularly photograph the wildlife there? On that day in 2010, 10 years after my first visit, the idea of this book was born. But I realized immediately that if this idea had merit, the president of the cemetery, David Barnett, would have to endorse the idea. I met with him soon after and told him of the idea, and he loved it. He said that there have been many books written about Mount Auburn, but they were all academic in nature, about the architecture or the history or some other discipline. And he leaned over and whispered to me, and they're all in boxes in the basement. So he felt that this book would be for all the people who came here for their own personal, not professional reasons, and that if I kept to this vision, this could be an important addition to the Mount Auburn literature. His enthusiasm galvanized me. The quest had begun. I immediately started talking to my author friends about the project, and they all loved the idea. I began collecting essays from them and poems from a few poet friends and photographs from some of my photographer friends. In 2011, I met Kim Nagy, a photographer at the cemetery, and we became friends. I eventually told her about the book project and asked her if she would like to join the project with me. As we used to say in the Navy, Kim has can-do spirit. I knew she would be a good fit for this endeavor. She was happy to join me to try to make this book a reality. Then those two dreaded words occurred to us. What now? We were collecting essays and poems from the authors. Among those contributing to the book are Alan Dershowitz, Mayor Ray Flynn, broadcaster and one-time general manager of the Boston Patriots, Upton Bell, Pulitzer Prize winner Megan Marshall, sports writer and broadcaster Dan Shaughnessy, the four authors present here tonight, and a score of others. The internationally known illustrator and author David Sibley contributed his illustration of the Blackburnian warbler to our book. We had all of the ingredients to create a book, but again, what now? What should we do next? 40 years as a book distributor did not prepare me for any of this. Being a book distributor and putting a book together like this are entirely two separate animals, and I didn't know what the heck to do. And as Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld once stated, we did not know what we did not know. And we learned every day just how much we did not know. Kim and I soon discovered, though, that we had an important ally in our mission to make this book happen. We came to know it as the spirit of Mount Auburn. Whenever a challenge presented itself, and there were many along the way, challenges that we could not have imagined, the spirit of Mount Auburn intervened and guided us through. It was almost as if the spirit of Mount Auburn wanted this book to happen and just chose us to complete the project. The first intervention from that spirit of Mount Auburn concerned our title, Dead in Good Company. But since my co-editor Kim Nagy is responsible for that part of the project, I'll let her tell you about it. Ladies and gentlemen,